I'm gonna say it, compact discs may be better than many of us remember. In today's video, we're taking a look at the humble compact disc.
Channel 33, RPM.
The compact disc as we know it was developed through a partnership between Sony and Philips. It was released to the public in Japan in 1982 along with the first commercially available player, the iconic Sony Cdp-101. The technology made its way to North America the following year. At the time, the Cdp-101 sold for around $1,000, which is equal to almost $3,000 today. It was a lot of money, but you have to remember how advanced CD technology was for the time. Up to that point, people listened to music on cassettes and on records. CDs, meanwhile, promised perfect sound forever. Well, okay, that was a bit of a stretch. More marketing than reality, but CDs did have many advantages. More on that in a second. By 1988, just 5 or 6 years after being launched, CD sales eclipsed vinyl and overtook the cassette in 1991. Of course, record companies nudged things along, all but phasing out records in favor of the more expensive and more profitable silver discs. The CD reigned supreme until the turn of the millennium when file sharing and downloading cut into sales. Of course, our man Lars Ulrich tried to reverse this trend by suing Napster for copyright infringement, racketeering, and unlawful use of digital audio interface devices, but the writing was already on the wall. Sorry, Lars. I'm not sure if you experienced this, but at the time, I recall many friends just dumping all their compact discs, literally giving away, donating their CDs, never wanting to see them again. Check this stat out. By 2020, compact disc sales accounted for less than 4% of music industry revenues in the United States. Talk about a major fall in such a short span of years. But then something funny happened. In 2021, CD sales increased for the first time in 17 years, a spike largely driven by pop artists like Adele and Taylor Swift. Through the comments in my videos, I'm also getting the sense that some of you are buying compact discs again simply because records are getting so expensive nowadays, right? A compact disc today costs a fraction of what a record does. And on top of that, of course, compact discs can sound really good. And as the title of this video suggests, they may sound better than you remember. Here's the thing, some people say that compact discs lack warmth or don't sound very good, but it may just be the gear that you're using. A decent CD player with a decent DAC and a well-mastered compact disc can sound great. You have to remember, compact discs have more dynamic range than records do. Dynamic range refers to the difference between the loudest and the softest sounds a system is capable of producing. Unfortunately, this is not always taken advantage of. Many, if not most, modern compact discs are brick-walled. This refers to when the sound on a CD is so compressed that it's all kind of at one volume. Everything just kind of plays at the same level, and it kind of sucks. Brick walling aside, when compared to records, CDs do offer better stereo separation and are free of issues like rumble and speed variation. And of course, surface noise with CDs is not a factor. There is no snap, crackle, and pop. Recently, I was listening to a podcast interview with guitarist Joe Satriani, and he said he prefers to listen to his music on compact disc or through high-resolution music streaming. He says the sound from those two sources is closer to the sound that he hears in the studio when his album and his music is being mixed and mastered. Satriani recalled having his album Surfing with the Alien mastered for vinyl and how the sound engineer had to roll off the upper and lower frequencies. That's because most turntable needles have problems tracking extreme high and extreme low frequencies. The mastering engineer has to compensate for that. The other cool thing about CDs is that record labels were a lot more transparent about the source material, at least back in the 80s. At the time, many CDs came with a 3-digit code printed somewhere on the disc or on the packaging. This was called the SPARS code. Now, the SPARS code was developed developed to distinguish between analog and digital sources. Let me show you an example here. This is an early CD version, obviously, of Metallica's Kill 'Em All. And if you look on the compact disc right there, it says AAD. First letter refers to how the album was recorded. A stood for analog and D stood for digital. So this album was recorded on analog devices, on analog machinery. The second letter refers to the type of audio recorder used during mixing. So this is an A. So again, analog equipment was used to mix this album. And the third letter refers to the type of mastering that was used. When you're talking about compact discs, obviously, it's always going to be a D because this is a digital format. How cool would it be to have that sort of transparency when it comes to vinyl? I'll show you one other example. This is Judas Priest Painkiller. And if you look at this one, right here on the booklet, it says DDD. So again, that means it was recorded digitally. It means it was mixed digitally, and it means that you're listening to it on a digital source. Like vinyl, if you look at the actual compact disc, there are other stories that the information on these little silver discs can tell you. You can find out where the disc was made, where the booklet was printed, and even who manufactured the CD. Again, on this Metallica one, if you look closely, around the transparent part of the disc, it says manufactured by Cinram. Cinram International was a Canadian-based manufacturer of pre-recorded Blu-rays, DVDs, CDs, CD-ROMs, VHS tapes, and audio cassettes. Ultimately, my point here is that in recent years, I think too many music fans have been too quick to write off and dismiss the compact disc. These discs can sound amazing, and they sell for a fraction of the price of records. I am in no way dismissing records. As you can see behind me, I own hundreds of them. This is not a CD versus vinyl argument. Both formats are great and both of them have their pros and cons. Rather, the point of this video is that I think the compact disc has been unfairly dismissed and written off, and it's still a very good format that can sound very good, and I do think we should start to show it some love again. Those are my thoughts. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below.